On today's episode, we have a car that we're going to diagnose. As far as we know, it's got a no-start condition. And the only tips that we got, or whatever you could call them, is the other mechanic said it was something to do with the starting connection. This car's all the way from Nebraska, so I quickly GPS how far Nebraska was away from us. So about 10 hours. I have not seen what was under the hood yet. I have not even confirmed the no start condition and whatnot. You guys are going to follow me onto this journey. We're going to see what we find. So first and foremost, when you have a no start condition, you got basically two things you got to ask yourself. Does the car crank over at all? And if the car cranks, does it not want to start? Well, of course, if it cranks, well, I guess you only got one question. So we're going to see right now if this car actually wants to crank. And we got no battery power at all, so I'm going to go get the jumper, and we're going to see what happens. So we got the jump pack hooked up. See, we're getting power now. Now, the one thing you want to listen to, and I'll cycle the key, and I want you to listen if you can hear the fuel pump. I'm not sure if you're going to be able to hear it on camera, so let me cycle this. So you can hear the fuel pump. Let's see if it wants to crank now. Okay. Okay, so it cranks. It didn't want to crank the first time, which could be a loose connection, could be a bad starter. But then it does crank, and it doesn't want to catch. So we're either going to get the car inside, because right now it's outside. It's a little bit chilly, so I don't want to go over the whole setup. I'll be right back on this one. We're going to go a little bit more in depth, and this might help you diagnose a no-start type condition. So we got the car inside, and well, it actually is getting worse and worse out. Besides nonstop rain, we're also getting snow, so that's fun. Anyways, what I'm doing right now is I'm just looking over the situation, and we know that it cranks, but it doesn't want to fire. It almost wants to fire. So usually when it almost wants to fire, you can kind of say that we're getting fuel, we're getting spark. Because in order for a motor to fire over, you need three things. You need oxygen, you need spark, and you need fuel. When I say oxygen, well, you can consider that as compression. So we're starting off with the basic stuff. And what I see right now is we got a ground right here, and we also got a ground, that's the main ECU ground right there. So now what you want to think about, and we see this a lot, and if you even go and you look online, Honda specifically recommends doing the ground here, and we understand why people don't do that because it doesn't look as clean. But look at the situation right now and think to yourself. Number one, the manifold is powder coated, which is probably powder coated underneath here. Number two, a lot of guys will run a plastic intake manifold gasket or even a paper gasket. So ultimately what that ground should be doing is going to the motor, and right now it's not even grounding itself out. It's not causing the no start because we're getting fuel and spark, like I think we are. I don't want to say for sure, but I think right now personally, I think something's going on with the tune. So my next step, thinking that, that it possibly is tune related and it almost wants to fire. So I'm assuming that I'm going to take a guess and say that the spark plugs are fouled out. Someone was probably sitting at home and just trying to crank it and get into the catch. So we're going to take a spark plug out. The spark plug is going to tell us a lot of what's going on. It may or may not tell us a lot. Of course, if you just replace the spark plugs, it's not going to tell us anything. But we're going to go to the next step. So I'm going to pull out a spark plug really quick and take a look at them. And then ultimately, I'm going to see what computer he has in here. I believe it should be on a K-Pro. And I'm going to open it up and I'm going to see if I can look at the tune. If I can't look at the tune and get inside the tune, then I will save whatever tune is on the computer, and I'm going to open up my own tune, and I'm going to see if I can get it to start that way. Now, if we suspect it's not getting fuel or spark, well, the next thing you would want to do, of course, is check for spark, which if you don't have a tester, what you can do is you could take a coil out, put a spark plug on the bottom, and then you can ground it out to something and see if you're getting spark. For the fuel injectors, well, you got two issues that they could be, if the fuel pump is working, of course. You got an injector that can be, you got the injectors that can either be stuck and not working, or you might not be getting power to that injector. If you're not getting power to the injector, what you're going to want to get is you can get a Noid light. Noid lights are easy. It's like a little LED light. It plugs into the injector clip. It's going to light up and flash. That shows you're getting power. If you also have a voltmeter, you can use that as well. So, you know, there's multiple ways to do it. So with that being said, I am going to pull out a spark plug, and I am going to see how those look, and I'll be right back. So we got the spark plug out, and yes, it is fouled out. Not only is it fouled out, you see that little glare? That's actually fuel. So in this case, what I'm going to do is I'm going to toss in a new set of spark plugs. And before I even go kick it over and crank it, I'm going to try to, like I said, look into that tune, which I'm going to change out the spark plugs really quick, and I will be right back. And then yes, that is it. So I'm sitting in the car and I'm looking over the map that it came in with. I was able to get it and download it. Now this is from the notes on the map. There's like a little note box you can put, and I'm not going to flip it around because there's some personal info on there and I don't want that to be shared. I don't know if it's a customer's personal info or if he bought the car from somebody. But anyways, this is what it says in the note box. Shit Basemap. Please don't use it for other cars. E85 stock. So, I mean, if it's a shit Basemap, why is it on this car? Anyways, I don't know. I am now going over all the basic sensors. I can monitor everything to make sure that the TPS is working and it's not switched around with the map sensor. I can also make sure that the ECT is reading along with the IAT sensor. If those are off, and let's say your ECT is reading, let's just say it's reading 180 degrees when you know the car is not up to operating temp. Well, so let's say 180 degrees it's reading, but the car is actually 50 degrees or 20 degrees. Well, a colder car requires more fuel to start. So if that's not all set up, or if this is not reading correctly, that could be a huge ordeal. So now what I'm going to do is I save the map. So if we're not going to tune it, he has the map still. I'm going to open up a whole new map, and I'm going to build my own map. So then I know that there's nothing weird going on in the back half that maybe this other shop enabled, or, you know, trying to diagnose something. So I'm going to start with a fresh new tune map that I'm going to set up right now, and then I'm going to crank it over, and we're going to see what happens. So I'll be right back. So I wanted to catch you guys up to speed here. It's been a few days in between. The computer actually has a password where it is locked, where you can't upload any new tunes to it. There is an option actually in the menu that says like wipe security off. I tried that, it didn't work. I went to Google really quick and I searched if anybody else had the issue, if there was like something else that I was missing. I saw somebody else have the issue on the Honda message boards, and didn't seem like there was anything I could do. So I told the customer I would contact Honda. Honda basically said, you're pretty much SOL, nothing that they can do. They said to contact the other shop to see if they would give the password up. At that time, the customer told me that he contacted the other shop and they just wouldn't give him the password. So the actual tune is not locked, which, uploading the tune is. And it's just one of those things where now the customer, I explained to the customer he has two options. Either we're going to get a new K-Pro, put it in, or we're going to switch it over to like Haltech. Right now, with how long the K-Pro wait times have been, I told them, I have a Haltech in the shop. We can get it in there and, see if it wants to start. So, at this point, it is what it is. He told me to go with Haltech. We're installing Haltech in the vehicle right now with the plug-and-play harness. And I'm going to go hop inside and load one of my maps on that I create. And if you buy something from us and you're looking to get like a startup a map, ask us, basically. Ask me, shoot me a message on that. We're going to see if it wants to start and kick over. I don't know. You're going to see it firsthand. The other thing I will mention too is, from the beginning of this video, just the way that the problem kind of was being described, and now seeing the setup and whatnot and big injectors, I do have a hunch that it is the tune, especially after reading the description with the shit Basemap. Do not put it in any other car. So we're gonna see what happens. But I just wanted to catch you guys up to speed because there's been a few days in between here. So I have Haltech connected. I have my file uploaded into the computer, and a few good signs right off the bat. Of course, we have communication with the computer, the ECU, so we know we're getting power to it. We also have the fuel pump priming, so that's a plus. Now, I haven't started this car yet. I don't know if it's going to start. I don't know if we're going to need a jump. I don't know if we're going to get it on the first try, but let's see what happens. Oh, man, almost. There you go. Look at that. It's running a little bit on the rich side, but that's fine. We're going to have that happen. I'm going to shut it off right now, though. Just because we haven't had it running and I want to make sure everything is safe and sound. So, my first big thing with this car, when I heard that it wanted to crank and, saw where we're at, I was kind of thinking it was the tune. I of course, I'm always prepared to, we're going to have to dive in a little bit deeper. But the other big thing, too, was these are very, very large injectors. And a lot of we have seen a lot of cars come in where they have rough starting. So that's what I was under the impression of, and that's what it seems like. So I'm going to start the car up. We're going to go over everything too to make sure everything looks safe and sound. And that's where we're at, guys. So the next car that comes in that may need a little bit more diagnostic time on getting it running or started, I'll also cover it and document it too. So yes, there's probably not, I didn't cover everything in this video, but I can only cover what the car is going to allow me to cover. That's it, guys. If you guys got any questions, you guys got any comments, concerns, as I always say, you can message down below. You can get back to me whenever. I did get an email this morning and I did want to touch base. If you buy any product from us, as far as like a computer goes, someone wanted to buy the Haltech setup and they said, hey, well, can you get me a base file so I can start the car and drive it around my town, and then can you help me a little bit to make sure we're good to go so we can get it in for the dyno? 100%, I told them, of course. This is what we're offering if you're a customer and a client of ours. If you buy the products from us and you need help in getting the car running and down the road, that is what we're here for. Once the sale is made, let's say on the ECU, we just don't go missing in action. We're going to help you through thick or thin because we consider you part of the family. And that's the other thing too. When I said we're not going anywhere, it's this year marks the 22 years of me doing this and being open and whatnot, and still going and having the hurdles that we've had, like, COVID stuff kicking in. So that's it, guys. I'm going to wrap it up. There's not much more to it. Hopefully this helps you guys and girls, and hopefully, yes, it's probably not going to be one of those things that, it's not going to help everybody, but I'm going to keep pushing out the content so I can help you guys. I don't get any kickbacks from this stuff. I'm not, you can look at, we're not huge on YouTube, but I truly do like helping others. And it just so happens today too, in this car with Haltech, the weather's a little bit nicer. We got no more snow. We had, I think it's going to be 82 tomorrow, which means I get to wear my lighter Haul Tech hoodie. So, look at that. It just so happens we got this car running, and we're going to get it knocked out. Take care, guys.